Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, here we go. The first thing, Cody. Alright, we have here, and it's probably hard to see, just so you guys, and you probably, since you went ahead, you didn't know, hopefully you noticed that was a plus, but these are pluses. The first thing we are doing is we are graphing the equation y equals negative 2x plus 5. You have to think about it being an equals at first. So you have here, you would go to 5. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put a dot. Then it says negative 2, so that means I'm going down 2 over to the right 1. Down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. And I'll wait right there to make sure all of you have that. Does anybody not have the sheet? Can you? So, after you have that, you want to make sure you look. This says equal to, so that means it's going to be solid. So I'm going to make a solid line right here. This line, ladies and gentlemen, is called your boundary line. And your boundary line is included because it is equal to. Alright, so your boundary line is equal to, so that is included. Now, it says that y is greater than or equal to this. So it says that y is greater. Since y is greater, that means we shade above the line. If y was less than, you would shade below the line. Alright, so your boundary line is included because it's equal to. That's it for those, yep. This one, I know it's still really hard to see, so I'm going to rewrite it. So this one says y is greater than a negative x plus 1. So you're going to go to 1 and put a dot. Guys, you can do it by yourselves, but you're not discussing it right now. You can ask me a question, but you have, so you're putting a dot at 1. Your slope is 1, so that means I'm going what? Down 1 and then over 1. So I go down 1 over 1, another dot. Down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. Now, the line which was called my what? What kind of line is that? Boundary line. Is my boundary line included on this one? See how there's not equal to? So that's a no. So you are going to make it dotted. This also says that it is y is greater, so that means we are shading above the line. All right. Questions on 1 and 2? All right. I want you guys to take a moment, eyes and ears, I want you to take a moment and look at 3 and tell me what you notice about those two equations. What do you guys notice about the equations in 3 and the equations in 1 and 2? Gino? They're the same. So, the only thing now we have is this, when we put them together, that's called a system. So, this system, we have to say what is the same in both of these graphs. Alright? That's what is shaded. Alright? So you have to shade what is the same in both of these graphs. Since we are new at this, what we're going to do is we're going to make our boundary lines again. So our boundary on this, we go to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still our slope is -2, so it's going down 2 over 1. It's still included, this line is still included, so I'm going to make this solid. Now, if you worked by yourself, make sure you're checking what I'm doing, because there are some things that you have to make sure you do. You have to label your line. So this line is the y equals -2x plus 5. I'm going to wait there for a moment and make sure, is there any questions on that line? All right, I'm going to do the other line. So I go to +1, put a dot. Slope is still -1, so I'm going down 1 to the right 1, dot, down 1 to the right, down to the right. Down 1 to the right. All right. This one is still dotted. This equation, it doesn't matter where you label it, but I'll just label it there. This one is y equals -x plus 1. It's still a boundary. It's not included. There's still a boundary though. So those two are included. I'm going to wait and see if anybody has questions on just how to graph those. Yes? Say it again. They're equal to, yep, the boundary lines are always going to be equal to, even that it's dotted, that line still is y equals -x plus 1. It's not included, but that's still the boundary line. Yep, because I could ask you what's the boundary line, but that is still the boundary line. All right, last thing we have to do is we have to think about what do they overlap. Remember that this one is above it and this is above it. So what do they have in common? Right here. All right. So you did not shade here, nor did you shade here, because this is what's in common. Now sometimes you might shade here, sometimes you might shade there. It's what they have in common is how you find the system. All right. So this one, remember, was above the line. This is above the line. So where do they overlap? So this is where they overlapped. All right. Question so far. My question to you now is, what is one solution of this system? There's multiple, but what is one solution to the system?
5, 5.
Let's see. So 5, 5. So we have definitely 5, 5. So one solution, just because I want to show you guys, so the one that was called out was 5, 5. To be a solution, what has to happen? Has to be true in both of them. So let's check it out. And because if your homework says, what is it a solution, you'll have to check it out. So we have 5 is greater than or equal to a -2 times 5 plus 5. So we have 5, this is -10 plus 5. So is 5 greater than or equal to -5? It is. So that's true. It has to be true, though, in both cases, right? So we're going to try the other one. So it has to be true in this one. So we have 5 is greater than -5 plus 1. So 5 is greater than -4, which is also true. So it is a solution. All right. Well, that's just if it asks you. I just wanted to make sure you know how to find one solution. It might not tonight, but tonight I think it just asks for one. It might say what is 3 solutions to it. So any points that are in here are solutions to it. It might say on the quiz, it might say, are these solutions to it? So I just want to make sure you understand what the solution means. But all of these are solutions to this system. And that's why we shade. All right, I want you guys to try the next ones while we have some little bit of time left. So I want you guys to try the next.